We are solidly into December now, so it is beyond time to go back and look at how things went for November as far as my budget is concerned. Um, if you guys have been around, you know I don't do a strict zero-based budget and I don't do like cash envelopes or anything. One of you actually commented below my videos and said you kind of do more of an intuitive budget, which is so true. I just kind of have a bit of a range that I stay in when I spend money month to month. So that being said, I definitely did not hit all of my savings goals this month, but I'm totally okay with it. You guys might be aware if you saw the last couple videos that I am changing up my entire budgeting and money strategy for 2023 and probably beyond. So more to come on this, but I am going to try and finish this year as strong as I can, and November was no exception. So let's just get into it. You guys probably know I do my budget all in Google Sheets just because I can access it from anywhere. I'm a spreadsheet nerd. I don't get super finicky about it, but I do like to have a spreadsheet just so I have a record to go back and look at and see how things are going as I go throughout the year and even from years prior. So that being said, here is November. I always start at the top with my income. My biggest income right now is, of course, my W-2 income. I always have a take-home pay goal of $5,360, and that's the smallest amount I'll ever take home. That is, of course, after taxes are taken out. That's after 401k contributions taken out, which I do 7% every single paycheck. And also my car insurance is taken out, HSA contributions. I think that's everybody. So the minimum I always have a goal to make is $5,360. That's without shift differential, overtime, any of that. I usually do have, in fact, I always do have some of those extras. So it's just a goal baseline. But the actual take-home pay for November was $5,437. So not that great. I didn't work a ton of overtime or shift differential, but I did work some. Which actually just reminds me, some of the things that are taken out of my pay before I get paid is I buy extra vacation. And for this 2022, I bought 1 extra week. So that also takes, I want to say, around $100 out of each paycheck as well. I forget exactly, but I bought 2 weeks for 2023 as well. So if I do stay at this job, it'll be a little bit more coming out of each paycheck, but also I get an annual raise. 2.5% in January. So it'll kind of offset itself, but I just remembered that I forgot to mention that. The next income that I have is from my rental property that I bought last year. And my goal is $459.24 in my bank account after rent is paid, and then the property manager is paid, and then the mortgage is paid from what's left. After that, there should be $459.24 that gets that stays in my bank account and is growing. I'm saving all of my rental income right now to save up to buy for my next rental property. So November was no exception. I got $459.24, luckily. So there was no maintenance requests or anything like that. And then my third income stream, which is new this year, is from YouTube, and I just so far set myself for the goal of meeting the $100 payout threshold every month. And for November, I got paid out for October, and it was $130.41. So a total of $6,027 take home. Of course, I will have to pay taxes on both the rental income and the YouTube income. So the YouTube income is also being entirely saved towards my emergency fund. So whenever or whatever I do end up owing for taxes on that, I will pay out of probably just out of pocket when it comes up. But starting for next year, I will be paying quarterly estimated taxes on those, just because it wasn't a big deal for this year because I just started getting YouTube income in August. Now, my next category, of course, expenses. The biggest one is my rent. I pay $15.25 a month for this apartment, and that's exactly what I paid. My electricity was $46. I saw the bill ahead of time and knew that going into it. No, I didn't. I take that back. Oh, it was $46 last month. So I guess I was just forecasting from last month, but it was actually $39 in November, which is great. My internet is $60. Mohila, which is my student loan servicer. I only have federal student loans at this point, all with Mohila under one payment. And of course, they're still in forbearance, so that's a $0 payment at this time. My gym membership's $22.99, Netflix $20, groceries and food. This is where things always get variable for me because I don't strict budget. I just, again, kind of intuitively go with what I'm feeling. I've been spending more in this category lately, and November was no exception. $797.82, and a lot of that, to be honest, was drinks out at restaurants, and that's just because I had been dating someone. But anyway, it should be cheaper for December. Whatever, I always go over in that category. It is what it is. And gas and car wash, I budgeted $250. I actually only spent $133.60, so that was surprising. It's slightly less than what I spent last month, but it's always good to just be under budget on a category, especially when you go over budget on others. But oh well. Pet supplies, I budget $25. I spent $116.06. That's just because like last month I spent $0 just because I didn't need anything, and then usually every other month is when I buy kibbles and litter and things like that. And I also got them a new water fountain because I can't seem to find one that doesn't overflow. I've got high hopes for this one. Anyway, massage, I budget $115. I'm gonna up that going forward because I always keep spending $168 because we always end up doing a 90-minute, and then I tip pretty well. So I should probably up that going forward. So for the new year, I will. Invest, I have a goal of investing $100 a month. I invested $50 in November, and that was on crypto. Going to be doing better going forward. Again, everything is changing for 2023, so that will definitely get beefed up for next year. And then donate, I always donate $50 to Layla. I'm sure many of you know her channel, Debt Over It, Personal Finances with Layla. I'm helping her on her student loan debt-free journey just because she is so close. And it's very exciting, and she motivates me to keep going on my journey. So I love to help her out every single month. And then my next category is student loan savings. I started the year with a goal of $30,000, which is $2,500 saved every month. I'm not hitting that goal for the year, but it's okay. I'm still doing my best. And in November, I was able to contribute, wrong button, $1,000 to my student loan savings, which not great, but $1,000 in savings is amazing for 1 month. So I need to keep reminding myself of that. And then spending, I roughly have a goal of $300 in personal spending every month. In November, I actually spent $818.24. So from the note there, you can see I spent $275 setting up a new active trustee for my rental property in the Midwest, and that is something I need to legally operate and hold a business in another state. Just because I'm not physically there myself, I do need to have an active. Nope, I'm thinking registered agent. Sorry. It's a legal thing you need to have. So that's an annual expense that I'm going to be setting up a sinking fund for in 2023. I've talked about that in my December budget video, which I'll also touch on here in a minute, but just so I won't have to bankroll those things as they pop up next year, I'd rather have a sinking fund for all of these kind of annual business expenses that come up with my rental property. So yay. But then I also bought concert tickets in November, as well as $108 spent on a Mint Mobile upgrade. As you guys know, I switched to Mint Mobile in September, and I love it. I was starting out with one of the smaller plans just to see how it would go, and of course it's wonderful. It uses the exact same towers as I was using when I was paying much more for Sprint. So that $108 upgrade was just upgrading myself to the unlimited plan, just because I do listen to a lot of music and use the GPS here and there, and I was like blowing through the data. So that will also, that $360 annual fee for an entire year of unlimited wireless will be also part of that annual expenses fund going forward. And then registered agent is the thing that I was trying to describe before, is you have to have someone who is basically holding down the fort for your business if you're not physically there for your business. So if you ever needed to be served legal documents or something like that, you do have to have a registered agent in the state that you hold a business, which for me is in the Midwest. I don't live there, so I need to have a registered agent. So I am using the same company that holds my LLC, so it won't be $502 annually going forward. It was just I forget exactly how much, just as a one-time setup fee, and then it'll be lower going forward as a recurring annual expense. So again, that'll be in my annual expenses sinking fund going forward. Now, my next category is debt. As you guys know, I only have student loans, federal student loans. They are all on forbearance, but I owe $160,550.22. It is down to $1,600, $160,400.22 current day, but the November payment made by my employer had not cleared in yet before the end of the month, so I just left it at $160,550.22. As you can see, I had that 2022 goal of $30,000. I started November with a savings of $27,599 that I had planned to put towards those student loans when the forbearance ended. That's extended now to maybe June-ish 2023, no idea, but like I had mentioned before, I added another $1,000, as well as that an additional $51 of interest that got added just because I am saving that lump sum in a high yield savings account that's at 3% with Capital One 360 money market account, which is a great percentage. So my money is making me money as it sits in the bank. Yes, I know inflation's a bit worse than that, but at least the cash savings and feeling comfortable that I have that kind of safety net right now is worth it to me, and it's at least growing at a rate of 3%, so I'm happy with it. So that brought my account up to $28,650 by the last day of November. So if you subtract that amount that I have saved from the amount that I owe, I would have a remaining balance of $131,900.22. So slowly but surely coming down. And then down at the bottom is the sinking funds that I would like to have fully set up someday. I am still working on my emergency fund. I have a goal of $10,000. I started November with $2,577 in there. And then, as I mentioned before, I put my whole YouTube paycheck in there. So that brought that $130.41 brought my emergency fund up to $2,865. I think I might have put a little bit of money of my own in there as well. Yeah, but either way, $7,135 to go. And again, some of you probably like, oh my God, emergency fund first. Well, in reality, that student loan savings is an emergency fund. It is cash that I'm holding on hand that's liquid, and if anything ever happened, I do have that on hand. And if I'm not at $10,000 in my emergency fund the day that student loan forbearance ends and I have to pay back to my student loans, I will take whatever chunk I need to and beef that emergency fund up to $10,000. So just for anyone who panics about emergency funds, I do have a plan for that. And then car, vet, and medical and annual expense, which is the new one, and travel funds, I all kind of want $2,000 for those. They're all at zero except for the $50 in my travel fund right now, which is fine. And then my Roth IRA, of course. I ended November still at $950 contributed to my Roth for the year, which will be changing for December and already has changed for December, which is very exciting. So stay tuned for next week's Transfer Tuesday with an update on that. And that's it for the month-to-month budget. Now I'm going to pop over to my full, what do you want to call this? My full like year at a glance view of things, just to kind of give you an update of where I am at as a whole. So you guys have seen this plenty of times. This is just where I track every bill that's paid, every paycheck that comes in, every rental paycheck that comes in, every mortgage payment that's paid from that, etc., as well as like my student loan savings and any deposits that I make towards my Roth, my FundRise account, or my emergency fund. And then down here is just my assets and liabilities. So I'm tracking my net worth, which, as we can see, is certainly in a positive direction. It's still in the negative, but certainly getting positive. And so if we look at November as a whole, I ended November with a total amount in my assets of $119,597, which is amazing. Yes, I still have that student loan, so I still have a negative net worth, but that's such a great balance to have in my asset column. That makes me really happy. I know the first $100,000 they always say is the hardest, and while not all of this is strictly invested, it mostly is, other than my student loan savings and my emergency fund savings. So, and I guess technically my real estate savings, but all of these other things are straight investments, which makes me so happy. I'm getting close to that $100,000 invested mark, which is just wonderful. And I have been down and out at many times on this journey, including very recently, if you saw last week's video. But sometimes I really need to stop and remind myself how great I'm doing, and everything is okay. Like, look at this net worth progress. I don't give myself enough credit, especially, and this is just 2022. In 2021, my net worth started well down here below the negative $100,000 mark. So just to say that I went from, well, as you can see, starting at the beginning of the year, a negative almost $83,000 net worth, to now negative $41,000. I'm doing fantastic, and I'm really, I could be better about actually investing in the stock market, but I'm still in such a better financial place year over year, and that's why I love tracking this stuff. I've been tracking my expenses and my debt since 2016, but it's really been the last few years of having a better paying job and really being intentional with my money month after month, and paying myself first from my paychecks, which has been a totally new thing for me the past couple years and totally game changing. It has just made a world of difference, and I really think that by the end of 2023 I will be in a positive net worth, and that makes me so excited. So yay. This is definitely why I track these things. I love, I guess, maybe the confidence, but also the affirmation that I'm doing the right thing, I'm on the right path, I'm doing the right steps to move myself to a better financial position, even if I don't end up fully prioritizing just straight up debt freedom at any cost, just because that has been costing me my mental health, as you guys know. And I'm really, the last few days I've really been diving deep into other perspectives on that whole, debt-free versus building wealth. And you don't have to completely become debt-free to start building more wealth. And I kind of know that just because I did choose to buy a rental property, and I chose to do that over dumping that money onto debt last year. But I was kind of feeling like that put me a step back towards debt freedom, but no, it gave me a huge step forward to passive income, which is ultimately the goal for me, is just adding more passive income to my life and not worrying so much about the debt and focusing more on investing and building passive income is just going to get me so much further in the long run than paying off that debt will. And it's all these realizations are starting to sink in for me, like I said, very, very recently, in the past week or so, not even. So I'm just still all scrambled up in my brain about it, and it's hard for me to loosen the grip of an idea that I set out for myself and to really be okay with changing that plan going forward. And it's something I struggle with, but I definitely want to put it out there and share it, just because it is incredibly important to realize that things can change. It is okay if you started on this one path, maybe realizing that it's not quite fully for you and there are other options that could make your life happier, better, saner. And it's okay to pivot and start a new course, or at least take what foundation you have and maybe take a step to the side a little bit. And I'm really, I guess, in the process of figuring that all out. So stay tuned for that. If you aren't subscribed, I would love to have you join this journey as I figure out what my next steps are and working my way towards financial independence, maybe just in a slightly different way than whole head in the game, debt freedom first, and then building wealth. Like, I think they can go hand in hand, and as I kind of navigate these decisions for myself, I will of course be sharing them with you all. So thank you so much for bearing with me through this process and always encouraging me along this journey. You guys are amazing, and it makes me feel so much better to know that you guys all have similar stories, similar paths, similar thoughts and feelings, and share your advice with me. That means so much to me, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much. If you guys did miss a video I made about all of my money mistakes in the past, you can check that out right here. There are certainly new ones to be had, and probably an updated video on that kind of thing coming soon. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.